Getting ready to turn the TV off and go back to sleep. Been kind of watching a lot of different videos on different topics. Um, as I was quieting down, quieting down my mind and attention, just getting into the quiet zone within myself, something crossed my mind, and I believe it was God. It is God showing me a a a way that he's been working in my life, and I know that it's a way that he works in a lot of our lives, and in more ways than one, all of our lives. But what I'm getting to the point of is that when God is has tried us and found that we are faithful, one of the ways that just came to my attention on how he does it is that first he tells you things to do, and then you feel like if you don't do it, you'll be disobeying. So one of the reasons you start out doing what God or your spirit or following your intuition and things, you're feeling that your source is telling you something to do. One of the reasons you do it is because you don't want to be disobedient. You want to be found faithful and carry out what was told you to do. So you do it as a you done, Hatchet? Thank you. And so again, you start out doing what you believe God, your spirit, your source told you what to do. You start out doing it as obedience because you want to be faithful and do what your spirit is leading you to do. And you may do it for a time span. And then after a certain time span, you find yourself kind of wanting to get out of a mundane routine pattern. And what God just showed me in my spirit is that when we've done something over and over and over again as a pattern and now I won't say habit, but as a basically ritual type of obedience, and then we get bored with it, or it becomes just time to switch things up. That what God just shared with me is that he has found us to be faithful, and he can trust us now to do it as a flow from our own spirit. That's just like, for example, the Moses making the Ten Commandments. A lot of us started out as our uh, religion, Christianity, whatever doctrine. We started out by following and obeying commands because we know that it was part of the obedience, staying obedient. But when God has found us to be obedient, he sets us free to do it as a flow, as as we want to do it, not as we're having to do it because this is what we were told to do. It started out as obedience, commands, discipline, But when God see that we've been faithful in what he's trusted us to do, then he allows the freedom within us to come out. And a lot of us, we get stuck in staying in the obedience and not letting the liberty, the freedom to come out and flow. Meaning, if you don't feel like doing certain things a certain way one day, you have the freedom to switch it up and do it another way, or you don't have to do anything. God trusts us by going with the flow of our spirit combined with his spirit, and you become so meshed together, you don't know if it's you, God. Your spirit is now intertwined with God's spirit. He trusts us to make decisions as we sometimes see fit. Sometimes we be so rambunctious on doing things, and other times we could be so laxy-daisy, and other times but going with the freedom of our spirit, God trusts us. He knows that we're not going to be stuck too long in one form or fashion, that we don't bounce back and get in a comfortable zone, or if we're in an uncomfortable zone, we know how to maneuver in any types of atmospheres, inside, outside, mind, emotions. We're getting to the point where we're learning that God trusts us. Now we need to know how to trust ourselves. That comes to where some of us may beat ourselves up because we didn't do it this day. We not sticking to our routines, our rituals. If it's a point to where you feeling so bad because you didn't keep up your methods and routines and rituals, you're not in the freedom of the spirit. Whom God sets free, you're truly free. And if God has tried us and found us to be faithful because we kept the ritual, the demand, the command, the routine, he started it, but he let us have the freedom to, I won't say finish it, but to have the liberty, the flowing in it, not so much the structured, standard, and so frigid type, obedient type. No, it's freedom. Sometimes you don't feel like it. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you're up. Sometimes you're down. Sometimes you're whatever. God trusts us. Now we need to trust ourselves. Be free. That's love. Have a blessed day.